Dear rectors, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Alma Mater Studiorum University of Bologna, I'm very glad to welcome you all at the 33rd anniversary of the Magna Carta Universitatum. Yesterday's debates on the changes and transformations that the universities and more generally the world have undergone in the last 20 years were extremely inspiring, and I wish to thank every speaker for their interesting and captivating speeches. I'm very proud to host this great event, especially because it will be the last time I can speak about our values and our role within both society and the international academic community in my capacity as rector of University of Bologna, since my mandate is approaching its end. In 1988, the University of Bologna was celebrating its 900th anniversary, and during a grand ceremony held in Piazza Maggiore here in Bologna, almost 400 rectors signed the Magna Carta Universitatum. Today, unfortunately, we can only meet online, but this does not deprive me from the joy and satisfaction of seeing all the signatory members of the Magna Carta that since 1988 have grown in number, representing now almost thousands of universities all over the world. In 2015, we, as Magna Carta community, initiated a discussion on how academic values could have more impact, while recognizing new urgent needs and issues arising from our fast-changing world. 3 points emerged quite clearly very soon. The first, that we need a truly global perspective, reflecting our global community and appropriate to global challenges. Second, values are not for granted and not limited to rectors' declarations. They should be lived day by day and shared by the university community. And the last one, the values in 1988 declaration are fundamental and still valid today, but not sufficient. Concepts or values such as diversity, inclusion, social responsibility, sustainability, critical thinking, university citizenship should be considered as well. And besides principles and values, responsibilities and commitment should be emphasized. So we started a process of global consultation that I prefer to call a journey, a very fascinating journey based on listening, dialogue, and discussion. Let me mention just two initiatives. Moving the annual ceremony outside Bologna and launching the Living Values Project. And here we are today to celebrate a very important step, a milestone of this journey, the signing ceremony of the Magna Carta Universitatum 2020. The daughter, indeed maybe the first daughter, of the 1988 declaration. It has been a great honor for me to sit in the Magna Carta Observatory Board, to be part of the drafting group, and let me deeply thank all the colleagues around the world that contributed to this important step. The president, Patrick Dean of the Magna Carta Observatory, and particularly Simon Norda for his enlightened and pragmatic leadership. I'm very proud. I'm going to put the first signature on the new declaration of behalf of the alma mater community. And to conclude, I wish to read the last sentence of the declaration stating the signatory commitment. By signing the Magna Carta Universitatum 2020, we declare our commitment to the original declaration and to upholding and advancing the principles, values, and responsibilities to strengthen the role of universities in the preservation of the planet and promoting health, prosperity, and enlightenment around the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ubertini. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome from me to this signing ceremony. I want to say a special thank you to Professor Ubertini, not only for opening the ceremony so wonderfully, but also for his outstanding contributions to the Magna Carta Observatory, to the promulgation and dissemination of the values of the Magna Carta Universitatum, and to the role he's played in bringing us to this point at which the new Magna Carta Universitatum 2020 can be signed. Francesco, thank you very much. And I will say it's been a great personal pleasure to work with you on this, and I will be sorry to see you leave your role. It's been wonderful to work with you. So I'll move us on to the ceremony then. Professor Ubertini made again use of the analogy that Seibold Norder used yesterday, that the MCU 2020 is the daughter of the original Magna Carta Universitatum. And I really do like that analogy because of the way in which it speaks to the sort of ongoing family resemblance that connects this new document to the original one. So if this document is the daughter of the original Magna Carta Universitatum, today is her coming out party. So I'd like to, before we move on to the formalities of this, to thank the members of the drafting team, to which Professor Ubertini referred, but by name. There were obviously the two of us part of this, but also Tamirias Gomez Sampaio, Seibold Norder, Dr. Eva Egron-Polak, Dr. Chanita Rux-Polmong, Dr. Marta Losada Falk, and Professor Narend Bainath from South Africa. Thanks very much to all of them, and to David Locke and to Carla Passaglia for their support of the work and guidance during the drafting of the MCU 2020. For everyone's information, the MCU 2020 now can be found on the MCU website in English and in translations into the 5 other official United Nations business languages. We're grateful also, there are 2 others. We're grateful to Tamirias Sampaio and Marcelo Nobel for producing the Portuguese version, and we're also grateful to the Ionian University for preparing the version in Greek. So now we will watch a video from the Alma Mater Studiorum to celebrate the values of the MCU 2020 and the role that this wonderful institution has played in the advancement of university values and the MCU in particular.
Culture, science, and innovation. This is who we are. This is how we serve society. We were born free, fostering dialogue between cultures, spreading knowledge, and protecting academic freedom. We were founded by students and for students to safeguard teaching autonomy, encourage critical thinking, and realize human potential everywhere. We are a community striving for open science, open teaching, open innovation. And research integrity is our North Star. We fulfill our social responsibility by acting sustainably, promoting inclusion, and engaging with society at large. We work together and think creatively to make a difference, to bring change. This is our DNA. This is the University of Bologna.
Professor Ubertini, would you be the first to sign the MCU 2020, please? Wonderful. Thank you very much. Now the document has been penned for the first time. We will move on to a series of videos. We're grateful to all the universities that submitted videos. The selection committee was only able to include a fraction of them during the limited time we have available today. But we wanted to show a range from different parts of the world exemplifying the full range of values that are enshrined in the document. But it is, however, the case that all the videos submitted are accessible on the MCO website, and they can serve there as an ongoing resource for current and for future signatories of the MCU 2020. So we will now run the videos for each of the institutions, followed by the signing of the document from the rector. And I'll be back at the end.
What we do in AIUB is we have implemented in our curriculum, in our programs, in our activities, even in researches, the value of sustainable development.
They will always inspire you to think beyond possibilities. The faculty members or the staffs, they will always help you to do something innovative. If you consider the main problems of Dhaka city, the first two things that will come up is traffic jam and air pollution. We thought that we should make something that will help to reduce these problems. And I think there is no other better option than an electric car, because it is not going to emit any carbon dioxide or any harmful air particles. Also, it is going to help the traffic jam problems as well. When you really make something with your own hands and finally see it moving, it is really an emotional moment for you.
We have an organization which has helped to give basic education to underprivileged kids.
I'm a teacher here, and I also train the other volunteers. They are actually teaching speaking, writing, and other kind of communication skills. When you see the children are speaking or learning one word, you know, they can write a word, it will give you that feel that you're in a haven. Cut Pencil is a safe haven. It is a community for them, because they don't have such kind of facility for everything. They don't have books and other stationaries or anything, so we provide them this kind of facilities. It will make them so happy. You can feel that vibe from their eyes or their faces.
It's not only about having a good education here. We have to share this education to the underprivileged too. AIUB has gone beyond books and the four walls of the classroom. They are now having practical applications of what they have learned inside the classroom, making them a global citizen who can now face the challenges of the competitive world.
Since the beginning, academic independence and integrity have grown constantly in importance at Bielefeld University. Our researchers and students transcend borders between disciplines, between people, and between science and society. The principle of transcending boundaries is a driving force behind top-level research and innovative teaching. We encourage people to think outside of the box, to leave the beaten path, and to ask provocative questions. Our interdisciplinary approach provides an ideal basis for this. As we keep questioning ourselves, we continue to develop as a learning organization. We take on societal challenges and get involved. Bielefeld University nurtures a culture of openness, of tolerance, of respect by validating different perspective identities and experiences positively, and by promoting inclusion, equity, and diversity. We create excellent structures for the further development of a gender-equitable research and university culture. We are working toward this goal with the greatest commitment. Intercultural openness, equal opportunities, and mutual respect determine our working environment. We cultivate respectful communication and a constructive conflict culture, even when this is uncomfortable.
As a research university, the SUT is intensively involved in solving problems and taking up the challenges of the modern world. Through the priority research areas, scientists carry out projects for the technological and social development of humanity, contributing to sustainability. The research area focuses on the integration of technical sciences with medicine and biology to achieve improvement in diagnostics, effects of therapy, and the emergence of new research platforms allowing for a better understanding of the causes and evolution of diseases. The second area focuses on the search for new applications of artificial intelligence in the fields such as medicine, cybersecurity, construction, architecture, chemistry, and other industrial processes. The third priority research area focuses on obtaining new materials with desired properties for real-life applications to increase the comfort and quality of life of people and solve the biggest civilization problems related to the deficit of energy, water, food, and climate change. The activities of this area are inextricably linked with the notion of sustainable development. What provides its foundation is managing development to satisfy both current and future needs without compromising the capabilities of next generations. Automation and integration of production systems, including the development of IT, simulations of industrial processes, designing and constructing augmented reality, 3D printing, reverse engineering and rapid prototyping, but also socio-cultural challenges of Industry 4.0 are the main goals of the fifth priority research area. Mitigating climate change and the power generation sector are among the most important issues of the sixth priority research area. The projects mainly focus on the most efficient sustainable growth strategy targeted towards a zero-emission system.
Foi na Unesp que eu desenvolvi o meu pensamento crítico por meios de projetos como iniciação científica, extensão e intercâmbio científico.
Eu estudei a vida inteira em escolas públicas, mas felizmente consegui ingressar na Unesp, que é uma universidade espetacular, onde eu achei meu lugar.
Sou estudante do curso de Letras e aqui na Unesp eu uso meu nome social.
Eu sou muito grata por todos os mestres que me fizeram tornar a pessoa que eu sou hoje, a todos os pacientes que puderam compartilhar comigo as suas histórias de vida.
Sou aluna do curso de História e aqui na Unesp participo de debates sobre questões étnico-raciais e de gênero.
A Unesp, signatária da Magna Charta, reitera seu compromisso com a autonomia universitária, com a ciência, com a solidariedade humana e o respeito à diversidade, tão importantes neste momento por que passa a humanidade.
A Unesp
ensina,
inova,
inclui
e transforma.
Critical thinking is a foundational value for Ilia State University.
We, as students, are encouraged from day one to question received ideas and establish attitudes.
But we also learn here to ask questions about the way the university itself functions.
And question the way our society at large works. What are the things we would like to change?
And how to go about changing them.
Critical thinking for us is the way to transform what is given, to look for a better, more hopeful future for the country and globally.
University of Lodz is proud to be among the original signatories of Magna Carta Universitatum. In the late 1980s, Poland was yet to become a sovereign state, but the gradual erosion of the Soviet Union and centrally planned economy, together with an increase in civic activity, were the first signs of budding freedom in all areas of life, including research. Though it has already been 33 years since the original document was drafted, the values advocated therein have not lost any of their relevance and continue to be a guiding light for many European universities, including University of Lodz. Our university invariably abides by the provisions of Magna Carta Universitatum and therefore has no hesitation in becoming a signatory to the new version. To ensure safety and sustainability and to meet the challenges imposed by the current reality, we have sought new markers of contagious and lifestyle diseases and synthesized new chemical compounds and nanomaterials. Planned alternative development strategies such as urban ecosystem and green-blue city infrastructure. Designed a sustainable, compact urban environment, thus fostering integrated revitalization with a view to eliminating destitution and social exclusion. We cultivated water reservoirs, thus ensuring sustainable water management. Research climate change and preservation of biodiversity by setting up a nature reserve in Colombia and exploring the possibility of an international consortium of green universities. We firmly believe that education is a fundamental human right and as such should be publicly accessible, which is why University of Lodz has committed itself, among others, to the following: a range of workshops, classes, activities and other initiatives for school children, running a kindergarten and secondary school while maintaining the highest standards of education and care, establishing a mentorship program supporting the development of the most talented secondary school students, audio describing art for the blind and visually impaired patrons of Lodz museums.
The Magna Carta Universitatum, first signed in 1988, is a wonderful document that lays out the principles and values on which the great universities of the world operate. Here at Queen's University, one of the ways in which we construe that mission is to focus very closely on our relationship with our local community. I want to talk about two ways in which we make a contribution to our community here in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. The first of these is the Promised Scholars Program, which offers first-generation students in our local community a full 4-year scholarship covering tuition, housing and living expenses, as well as academic and mentoring supports, as well as summer employment.
Many students who are thinking of post-secondary, especially the first-generation students, don't come with a tradition of post-secondary applications in their families.
There can be a perception that university is just for people who have money and whose parents have gone to university. I would encourage students to apply for the Promised Scholars Program because it's a chance at a top quality, fully funded education at a top university.
In another initiative called the PhD Community Initiative, we pair PhD student teams, interdisciplinary teams, with local community leaders to tackle real problems using applied research and professional skills they have learned through their graduate studies. This past year, for example, our PhD teams worked with city officials and local organizations to study ways in which the local Kingston community can recover most effectively from the COVID-19 pandemic.
As a Queen's student, it was a rewarding experience to help boost and upskill the arts community in Kingston, especially now during COVID that they've been hit very hard. My experience throughout the PhD community initiative are definitely going to reshape how I do my research. I think every graduate student, every student should try it. It's a great opportunity to explore so many different aspects of your career and to give back to the community, to interact with people that you might never meet.
Now more than ever, the principles of the Magna Carta Universitatum 2020 are critically important to the work that we do at Queen's University. I look forward to joining the global network of MCU 2020 signatories to strengthen the role of universities in the preservation of the planet and promoting health, prosperity, and enlightenment around the world.
Det är idag precis 100 år sedan Sverige gjorde en stor och omvälvande grundlagsförändring genom att besluta att kvinnor i Sverige skulle erhålla rösträtt i direktval till riksdagen med samma villkor som män. Det vill vi uppmärksamma vid Luleå tekniska universitet. Det var ett genombrott för demokratin och därför flaggar vi på samtliga campus idag. Samma år i september så var det riksdagsval och första gången som kvinnor fick rösta. Frågor om demokrati, människors lika värde och rättigheter är viktiga frågor för oss vid Luleå tekniska universitet. Det genomsyrar vår vision och är viktiga för all vår utbildning och forskning.
Det var först år 1873 som kvinnor fick tillträde till vissa fakulteter i Sverige. Under den här tiden så pågick det såklart en diskussion kring möjligheter för kvinnor att ta större del och större ansvar i samhällsutvecklingen. Det fanns fortfarande vid den här tiden ett stort motstånd mot att kvinnor skulle studera. Det var först 1917 som vi fick vår första svenska kvinnliga ingenjör, Vera Sandberg, som 1917 gick ut Chalmers i Göteborg. Hon var när hon började vid Chalmers 3 år tidigare den första och enda kvinnan bland 500 manliga kollegor. Det är fortfarande såklart väldigt mycket bättre idag än vad det var för 100 år sedan. Men vi kämpar fortfarande med att öka intresset bland kvinnor för teknikstudier.
Now, I would like to invite Professor Birgitta Bergvall Karaborn Vice Chancellor of the Luleå University of Technology, to speak on behalf of our new signatories.
Thank you so very much, Patrick. I want to start by apologizing for the forced Swedish lesson to all of you, but this is just our way to try and market the country and make you come and visit us. First of all, I would really like to express my gratitude to the organizer of this very important event and for inviting me as Vice Chancellor of Luleå University of Technology in Sweden to speak for all the new member universities. The world has changed considerably since the first principles of Magna Carta were formed in 1998. We live in a world characterized by transformations and uncertainties. Change comes in many different forms: digitalization, internationalization, climate change, and now, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. And in a world of great change and uncertainty, fear and anxiety tends to grow. We have seen this clearly the last 10 years in most countries in one way or another. With fear comes the movement towards the known, the safe and the traditional, rather than a willingness to explore the unknown and to build bridges between cultures, nations, and people. Today, we are more connected to each other than ever before, thanks to internet, digital platforms, and social media. At the same time, our societies are becoming more and more divided and separated due to subgroups with very different worldviews or Weltanschauungs. Digital services have become a fundamental part of people's everyday lives, and they provide us with unique possibilities to interact with each other and make our voice heard. As such, they offer people an important arena for democratic debate and for defending our modern societies. But at the same time, they are also powerful tools for speaking and spreading fake news and conspiracy theories. Lies are put forward as facts, and disinformation is easily and quickly forwarded and spread. This threatens the freedom of expression, societal development, and in the long run, democracy. As universities, we have an important role to play here. We need to be the defenders of democracy, freedom of speech, and equality, and we need to teach our students the importance of knowledge, facts, and evidence, as well as the difference between an opinion and an argument. These are important parts of a university education, besides knowledge and skills in specific subjects. In a similar manner, academic freedom can never be taken for granted. It must always be activated and defended in our daily actions, in our words, and in our activities. Even in Sweden, we see how this freedom is attacked, and we see how political forces question research areas and individual courses and programs. In Sweden, as in many countries, gender equality, climate change, and now vaccination and the pandemic are common areas under attack as a way of influencing the development in our country. The same is true for threats and hatred directed at researchers, but also politicians and journalists, key professions in a democratic society. Even if the groups attacking democracy and academic freedom still is in a minority, they are often the more proactive and their voices are often the loudest. And we must ask ourselves, why is that? In times like this, it is of course of great value to have a strong community of friends and allies to lean on. The Magna Carta Observatory is such a community that has promised to uphold the timeless values that guide universities and bind us together. For when change is upon us, it is more important than ever to debate and reflect on the role of universities. Will online education, MOOC courses, and EdTech platforms render universities obsolete? Or will they force us to identify and strengthen the core and the purpose of our values? I believe the latter, and I think that they will trigger interesting and important discussions, such as the difference between content providers and knowledge creators. It is also of great importance that the Magna Carta Universitatum of 2020 emphasizes the crucial role of students for a university to be a university. Students have, of course, always been a crucial part of a university, but with time, their roles have changed. Some speakers have also pointed out changes related to international student recruitment, arguing that international students today have more than one purpose, besides securing an international environment for the university and provide our students with a broader understanding of different cultures and national conditions. International students today also secure additional incomes for universities. This has resulted in discussions highlighting the difference between a student seen as a co-creator of her or his education compared to a customer consuming an educational service. The last year, COVID-19 has also highlighted the effects of socioeconomic differences of students and staff, as well as differences within and between countries. As education moved from our university into the homes of our students and staff, their working conditions suddenly differed and became very different, depending on their socioeconomic conditions. In some countries, the lack of internet connectivity even rendered home studies impossible, and by that education inaccessible. But when technology is available and when it works, it creates a smaller and more closely knitted world where our local and global colleagues are equally close to us. The basic principle of Magna Carta Observatory that I would like to end with is that the university is an autonomous institution at the heart of our societies, which differ in their structure as well as a result of different geographical and historical conditions. It produces, investigates, evaluates, and passes on culture through research and teaching. In order to meet the needs of the outside world, universities' research and teaching must be morally, intellectually independent of all political, ideological, and economic power groups. By that, I end my speech and send a thank you to all of our new university members for being accepted to join the Magna Carta community with over 900 universities from 86 countries. Together we are stronger. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Bergdahl-Klarabo, and thank you for those inspiring words and a lovely way to end that series of inspiring videos showing the great work that goes on around the world in our institutions. So thank you very much. This brings this third session to a close. I'd like to thank all the signatories of the 1988 Magna Carta Universitatum who have already signed the MCU 2020, and we look forward to the remainder doing so either virtually or in person at our next physical anniversary conference. So as I say, that brings this session to an end. We'll have a short break and begin a session 4 on the hour. So that will be about 10 or 12 minutes from now. Thank you very much, everyone.